Hi everybody, and first of all, thank you very much for attending one of my regular webinars again. And this webinar is going to be, we're going to do something quite interesting in this webinar. This webinar is going to be an exploration webinar. First of all, before I start off and tell you the structure of today's webinar, could you all please give me a yes in the chat box and tell me if you can hear me nice and clearly? If you can hear my voice on my mic, just type yes in the chat box. Okay, brilliant. Okay, guys. So today's webinar is going to be slightly different. There is no there is no pitch on this webinar. There is nothing at the end of it. We won't be upselling you or selling you on to a product or a program at all. So that's not the intention of today's webinar. However, at the end of this webinar, there will be a gift that we'd like to offer everyone, every single attendee on this webinar. And also, if you're watching the recordings of this webinar, thank you for joining us. Please again stay till the end, and there'll be a gift for everyone on this webinar. So first of all, welcome to Business Success Principles with myself, Sohail Khan, and my good friend Catherine Newton. And I just want to start off by talking about Catherine. Catherine is an internationally award-winning coach, entrepreneurial business expert, law of attraction practitioner, a master educator and trainer. Now, you know that I speak around the world a lot on the topic of business growth and joint ventures. Well, Catherine has spoken to over 5,000 people on various subjects, including leadership, marketing, infopreneuring, business, and personal growth, using the exact principles that Napoleon Hill talks about to create success. Now, here's the thing that's really interested me about Catherine. Catherine, she not only talks the talk, she walks the walk as well. Now, as you know, I have many very successful mentors, and Catherine is the same. Catherine's currently being mentored by George Ross, who is Donald Trump's right-hand man, and a serial entrepreneur, Dr. Nido Kubin. And this is pretty phenomenal because I know both of these individuals, and obviously from that stemmed in terms of our network, and that is how I got introduced to Catherine. So I'd like to bring on Catherine onto the webinar. Thank you very much, Catherine, for being with us today, all the way from New Zealand, by the way.
Indeed.
So, Catherine, before we begin,
really looking forward to spending this time with you and to connecting. Yeah.
Excellent. Before we begin, could you just give us a brief background to yourself and a bit of a history so we can let everyone know exactly who you are?
Absolutely, or a bit of a history lesson. All right, fantastic. So a little bit about me. So I come from a teaching background. Always knew I wanted to be a teacher. Always knew that I wanted to be out there making a difference in people's lives. And I remember right from the tender age of 5 years old and sitting in the class on the first day of school and looking up at my teacher with big adoring eyes and just knowing that that was what I wanted to do. And so I embarked upon that journey, and it's ironic that almost 40 years later I'm still teaching Sohail. I'm still being a teacher, and what that has led me on is this magnificent path where now what I do is I teach entrepreneurs journey along the way. I've taught overseas in China for 5 years. I've run my own successful business as an importer. I've worked in sales and gone to the top of my ladder in the sales industry, which has taught me so much about the way business works and the way to interact with people. And it was in 2006 when I read The Secret, Sohail, that things really started to change for me. I read that book, and I don't know what it was in particular, but I felt like I'd come home. I'd read this book, and it really tuned into me. And so I then embarked upon the journey of becoming a law of attraction practitioner, which led me to do my coaching. First of all, as a success coach or a life coach, and then from there, my business grew so rapidly, so quickly that I had people come to incredible mentors, as you've said, some incredible opportunities. And so I'm really looking forward to sharing some of that with your audience tonight about, how along the way I've made some phenomenal money over the long haul and really built a business, and that's what we're here to talk about, isn't it, Sohail?
That is the topic for today's webinar, and it's quite interesting because this must be a topic that has really interested a lot of people, because we have over sort of half the people who originally registered for the webinar actually on the webinar, so that's pretty phenomenal. So it's,
Awesome.
yeah, it's pretty cool. So what I like to do, I'm always the one that gets interviewed, so I'm always used to being interviewed. But the tables are turning here today, because it's going to be me asking you specific questions, and not only that, because I want to learn myself. I'm always learning
Great.
as I'm growing, so it's important for me to also learn. And everyone on this webinar or listening to the recording, I'm sure they're in the same boat. So I want you to start off by asking you, what was the most critical lesson you've actually learned from business?
Oh, wow. So after mentoring hundreds of people, working with many mission-driven entrepreneurs on actually how to transform their business and to make money doing what they love, I can confidently say this, that making money is easy when you allow it to be. And I think that is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned along the way, that you can create bursts of cash, you can create bursts of income time and time again. And what it takes really is that you've got to find this fuel in your business and in your life. And so I embarked upon this path of realizing and teaching that making money is easy when you allow it to be, because all of what happens, so is that we get in our own way. I'm sure you've identified that with many of the people that you've worked. And we show up in our business on a daily basis, and we think we're getting on with taking action, and we think we're getting on with making connections, and we think that what if we just stick to our plan. But what we're also dealing with along the way, that if we want to make money in our business, we've got to have a relationship with the inner part of ourselves as well, because it's not only the outer game, it's also the inner game. I think that was probably one of my most critical lessons in learning and realizing that making money is easy, and it becomes this mindset shift that when we realize, when we wake up every day on a daily basis and have this strong strength of belief that actually, yes, making money is easy, and I don't need to listen to that ego inside of me that's telling me that it's hard. Do you find that, Sohail, that you have so many people that go around saying, oh my gosh, it's so hard, the economy is really bad right now, and I can't find any clients, and I don't know quite what's going on, but business isn't really working for me. Well, congratulations to those going to get more of the same. Whereas when you have this belief and you take action from that belief that making money is easy, then it shows up. It really does, Sohail. It's amazing.
And I totally agree. I'm a big believer in the law of attraction, and also having a belief system in place. And like they say, if you believe it, you can achieve it. So I'm definitely with you on that one, and it's pretty phenomenal. There is money out there, and you just have to go and find where the money is. But sometimes you don't have to do that. Sometimes if your law of attraction and your belief system is so strong and you put it out there, sometimes it comes to you as well, which is pretty cool.
Absolutely.
So let me ask you.
That's a great way to look at it.
So let me ask you, I mean, I've had a lot of challenges in my life and in my business, and as everyone knows, the journey that I've gone through and how I overcame that. So tell me, what's been the biggest challenge for you that you've had, and how did you overcome it?
Yes, the biggest challenge I've had and how I overcame it. Well, I think that I had come back to that word internal again. In a part of me had a real battle with the whole concept around making money, and I know that sounds a really odd thing to say for someone that's in business, but what was happening is I was going around treating my business like a hobby, Sohail. And I'm sure a lot of heart-centered entrepreneurs can relate to what I'm talking about. And that I think when I first started, I wasn't really taking my business seriously. I wasn't really treating it like a business, and I had to overcome this challenge. And I had to ask myself, what does it really take to make that phenomenal money in our business in the long haul. And to build a truly sustainable business that's actually going to allow you to create extraordinary income and impact without having to give up our lives, because I found myself working too many hours, and around what other people thought of me, around whether I'd be able to make ends meet. And what I noticed along the way is that the more I was in fear around not attracting the clients, making the money, or being able to close a sale, then the universe gave me it right back. And as I was having these challenges faced to me, and realizing that it was time for me to stop treating my business like a jolly hobby, and actually take it seriously, and create some urgency. I found that it takes these three things, and what I thought I'd do, Sohail, is I thought I'd share these three things with your audience, because for me that they were a really big turning point in helping me to overcome my biggest challenge, which was me treating this business like a hobby and not really taking my money and my relationship with money seriously. So first of all, I found that I had to have business know-how. Start with the law of attraction stuff, but I actually really want to start with the importance of actually understanding what it takes in business to make yourself irresistible to your clients, to know how to price yourself, to package your services, to gracefully guide people through that money conversation, to know how to build your list and have the right mentoring and the right systems and the right team that's going to create a business that that's literally full of clients and full of clients first, and then runs without you later, because obviously I wanted to reach that freedom piece in my business too. So that was the first thing I did. The second thing I did was to realize that I had to have money mastery. I had to really have a connection with money. And some people in the circles that I work with, we might call it spiritual money. From the truth is that in order to attract and keep more money, then ultimately you've got to become this example of what it means to have money. Where you are having a healthy relationship with money, you're knowing how to handle money, and you're feeling awesome about having it in your life. You're understanding the beliefs that are holding you back from having this money in your life, and you are, literally you're seeing yourself as being this person that can bring money into your life. You're seeing yourself as this abundant being. And I'm going to go into a bit more as we go through the call around what it takes to have this money mastery, so that people can actually attract it and keep it, because that to me was a really big part of the piece. And the third one I wanted to share about how I overcame my challenges and really pushed through was, and I think the third one might surprise your listeners a bit, Sohail, but many entrepreneurs, they think that the missing link is mindset, right? And that's why you're hearing so much about it. That's why you're seeing trainings on it. That's why it's it's all out there. And they might think it's about those belief breakthroughs, and they might even think it's about the law of attraction, and affirmations and all those kinds of things. But I find that it actually goes even deeper than that. And that is that it's about having you actually stand in your power of who you are, of what you are here to do, of who you are here to serve. Because the thing is that when you are confident, when you are showing up in your life, then you become this magnetic being. And then it does incorporate all those things around law of attraction and your beliefs, right? Radiant, magnificent person that is just waiting to come out inside of you, and that I found in me, I realized that when I was confident, then I could attract what I wanted. I was starting to live my life more on purpose without having that struggle without my life being in conflict, without that resentment about business. And then I found that when I was in this almost like this divine power, I found this unique gift inside of me. And you know, and I encourage all of the listeners out there to really to tap into Sohail, you know, kind of what is that? What is the gift that's inside of you? Because it's when I really identified what I have to offer the world, you know, that's when I could stand in my personal power and really to cultivate that so that I could be of the greatest contribution, so that I could make more money in my business. And really get what I was here to do and how I was here to help people. So, you know, challenges, we all have them. You just identified that, right, Sohail? You know, it's about having those three things. I'll just go over them really quickly. It's your business know-how, it's the money mastery, and then really tapping into that personal power of who you are, what you're here to do, and just having immense confidence about your ability to help people. Those were my turning points, Sohail.
Great, and it's quite interesting because I've never had this before on a webinar. I'm having people send me some messages saying that they want to hear more about money mastery and money making. So this is interesting. So this webinar is about to be is about to go in a different direction because everyone on the webinar is saying that they want to hear more about the money making and money mastery, which is really interesting. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to gear my questions down towards that route in terms of the money mastery, which a lot of people are messaging me saying, look, we want to hear, we want Catherine to tell us more about the money mastery aspects. Okay, so this is interesting. So what I'll do, my next question is, and we'll just paraphrase it. So tell me, Catherine, what are your most important money mastery principles, and how do you practice them?
Oh, that's a great question. So, so I think it was my money mastery principles were this: is that I knew that along the way that I had to get really serious about my business. I mentioned before about the difference between it being a hobby business and being, you know, an actual business where I was making great money, right? And what I realized along the way was that when it comes to actually making some great money in your business, there are some practices that you've got to take into account. You've got to, you know, change the way that you're doing things so that you tune up fully and start making some decent money in your business. Was I mastered the art of asking for business. Let's face it, until you have that understanding that you've got to get out there and ask for the sale. Now, look, you can you know, sit behind a computer and create sales pages, and you can, you know, learn what it takes to actually do business online. But when I first started in my business, I didn't have that savviness. I didn't have that ability to be able to whip up a web page, and I didn't even have the technical know-how so when it came to running that side of my business. So what did I do? I created relationships. I picked up the phone. I went to networking events. And what I did, I mentioned before about personal power. I realized my gift, I mentioned that before too, my gifts were twofold. One was I was really great at getting out there and networking and building relationships. And the other thing that I was really good at was so what I did in order to ask for business, and this is what I would really encourage your listeners to do, is to first and foremost work out what is your strength. Where are you the most comfortable? Because what often happens is that some people are really comfortable with picking up the phone and having that sales conversation. But so often what I find is there's a lot of fear around the mere act of picking up the phone. So instead, get out there into your local community and ask yourself, where are the people that I can help? And get out there and be of service to those people by having conversations with them, by being interested in them, not by standing in front of them and saying, oh, I can solve your problems, I can help you with that, you know, you need to work with me. That just offends people these days. and so in order for you to ask for the sale, you've got to build the relationship. So get out, start connecting other people to people, right? You can ask for business in a way that doesn't have to be straight for the jugular and you know, work with me because, you know I can help you. Sometimes it's the long, slow tail. And sometimes what happens is, you know, for example, I had a situation where I met a woman at a networking event, and a year later, her and I have started working together, and she's introducing me to corporate clients, and I'm introducing her to entrepreneurial clients, and so we've been really helping each other. And how did that come about? By building the relationship and then connecting in and actually asking, well, how can I help you? What can I do for you? And that's all about asking for the business. The second part of the money mastery scenario that has happened in my business, and I see it happening in clients around us, is that we've got to get curious about our money. Now, what do I mean by being curious? You have got to have a relationship with it. You have got to know it. You've got to track it. You've got to find out where it's going. You've got to really investigate it. You've got to, and I know this is often a really big downfall of many heart-centered entrepreneurs that I work with, but I see it across the board, so with all different business owners, is that they neglect to take care of their money. And if you imagine that you know, you were having a relationship with money, and in the same way that you might have a relationship with a partner, right? You know, so I know that sounds kind of funny to compare money and a love relationship, but they're actually one and the same, because if you identify and look into, well, how are you treating money? Are you giving it the attention? Are you speaking to it nicely? Because these are all the things that we need to be doing in our love relationships, right? Well, it's the same thing in our money mastery. And you know, quite frankly, if you weren't giving your partner attention, if you weren't spending time with it, and if you weren't having good thoughts about it and wanting to be with it, your partner probably wouldn't have one after a while. So do the same thing, adapt the same philosophies around your money. When was the last time you looked at your bank account? When was the last time you tracked your money? I mean, one of the turning points for me in my business to help me to get that real money mastery was that at the beginning of every month I would sit down and I would write 1 to 30 if it was a 30-day month, or 1 to 31. And what I would do is I would actually track the money that was coming into my business and physically write it, because I mentioned before that, you know, as I and so I'm living proof that you can have money mastery without being technical, but you've got to really, you know, write down all the money that's coming into your business or into your life on a daily basis, and that makes you curious about your money. And the other way that you need to be curious about your money is ask yourself, how much money do I actually need to make each month? Now, that in itself might seem like a really obvious question, but have you taken the time to track or to investigate or to work out whether you do this on a spreadsheet, whether you do this with your accountant, whether you do it just by merely going into your bank account and downloading your expenses from the last month, and actually tracking it and saying, well, how much money do I need to make to cover my expenses, and then some? Because, you know, before, Sohail, I talked about a sustainable is one that leaves you with profit at the end of the month. Well, if you are not being curious about your money, then how do you know how much money to make each month? How do you know when you've broken even? How do you know when you are out the other side and into profit? Because it's the profit and the cash, right, that is the king or the queen in your business. And so please, everyone, get really curious about your money. So when you have that curiosity, you can really be checking in with yourself. How much money do I need to make? And the other thing about being curious about your money is actually identifying into, in order for me to make money in my business, what do I need to offer my clients? Not what you think you need to offer your clients, but what do biggest problem and how can you solve it? Because when you are curious about that, then you can show up with an opportunity for them to be curious about you, which means that you can actually make the money because you're putting an opportunity in front of your clients or your prospects that they're hungry for. And let's face it, everyone's got problems in their business, right? Everyone's got challenges in their lives. Everyone wants more of something, right? So get out there and find out what that something is in the area that you are passionate about. That comes back to the personal power. That comes back to you, getting curious about what do my clients want, what's going to make them more confident in their life for their business, and get out there and offer them something. And if you're not technical either, then do it face to face. If you are technical, get busy. Create your web pages. Your Facebook channels, whatever it is, but find a way that's going to work for you, and get curious about how you can make more money. And thirdly, it's what I noticed around the Money Mastery is that you've actually got to what I call activate commitment, and that's commitment in your clients and commitment within yourself, right? So let's start with yourself first. So activating commitment. Well, Money Mastery came down for me to productivity and committing to getting things done, committing to actually having a marketing plan and chunking it down and actually doing one thing a day but doing it really well. And it's that Japanese principle of Kaizen, and where you do just one thing, because what I noticed in my money when I did continuously small increments over time, and I found that when I committed to just one thing a day, then I didn't have to worry about where my clients were coming from ever again. So what if that one thing a day was for you to get out there and ask people for the sale, whether it was by phone or whether it was by creating connections or going to networking events, right? Choose the one thing and do it well, follow it up, have a purpose for it, an intention for it, but commit to doing that one thing yourself, and what will happen is that you'll show up even more powerfully. It's quite amazing the emotional space that creates when you sit at your desk or you get out there in the big wide world of business, and you have this focus for this one thing, and in order to do that, I had to ask myself this question. You ask this question too, and it will change the way that you show up in your business. It's this: what can I let go of? I'll say it again because it was a big one when I first got it, is what can I let go of? Because when you ask that question of yourself, then you get more committed to focusing on that one thing. Because, let's face it, as business owners, we've got 5 million things that we've got going on, right? Well, I'm suggesting to you that you ask yourself, what can I let go of? And you get on with doing the one thing. And then once you've done that one thing and you've finished it to completion, then of course you get on with the rest of your to-do list, because you've got it out there. And the second part of activating commitment is commit to asking your clients to work with you, and commit to getting the money from them. Because what often happens is that in the process of asking for the many entrepreneurs don't follow through with collecting the money, or they don't have a system for collecting the funds, and especially if you're a small business owner. So you need to really activate commitment in the client. Get a contract in front of them, or make sure that you have a process or a system in place for collecting the money. Make sure you have a process or a system in place for when payment doesn't come in. And I had this great one the other day when I was meeting with my accountant, and I said to him, so what do you do when it comes to getting clients to pay? Obviously we're talking about people who are invoicing in this respect. And he said, well, what you do is you blame me. If you need to be following up on getting clients to pay so you can have more money in the bank, because that's part of the money mastery, isn't it? He said, just tell him your accountant said that he set you some homework, and that's to follow up and find out. This is what I do with my clients now. I'm just trying to just to let you know I've been set a task by my accountant, and I've got some homework, and I have to follow up on some outstanding invoices. I'm just wondering, when are you able to make payment on yours, so I can go back to my accountant and tell them I've done my homework. And when you put a slightly lighter mood on it, then you're activating commitment in your client as well to actually follow through on their payment, and then it becomes much easier to be bringing in the profits in your business and to be having that healthy relationship with money. So yeah, I'm really finding those three things, and once again I'll go over them with you so that people really get them. It's firstly, ask for the business. Secondly, is be curious about your money. Please be curious. And the third one is activate commitment in yourself and from your clients. So yeah, those are my nuggets, Sohail.
I totally share that, because I use the accountant excuse all the time, and it does work. So that's pretty cool. Now, Catherine, one thing I always am interested in is delving deep into the mind of successful entrepreneurs, and obviously being a successful entrepreneur yourself, I wanted to just ask you and just find out, what are the sort of three main habits that you've mastered that you would say have contributed towards your success?
Oh, great question. Okay, so the three habits. Well, first of all, I had to really step into that D word, and the D word is decisions. And what I did was I started to, one of my habits is that I started to really make conscious decisions to change my behaviour, right? And I noticed that what happens with business owners, and look, I can, hand on heart say it was part of my journey as well, and that's I guess why I can teach it so well, is that there were all these limitations and how we're going to show up with money. And I knew that I had to make a conscious decision to change my behaviour, and I stopped being right about my excuses. I'm going to say that again, because this is a really big turning point for me in my business. It was this. It was I had to stop being right about my excuses, because my excuses were great, and they were being magnified in my life, because of course, being a law of attraction practitioner, what we focus on expands. And so I was focusing on my excuses. My excuses that I don't know how to ask for the sale. I don't know how to be curious about my money. I don't know how to activate commitment in my clients, or even within myself. I don't have enough time. What other fundamentals come up in our businesses? And I don't know how to manage my money. Nobody wants to work with me. Why would anyone want to work with me? I don't have enough experience, right? All of these things. And I had to make a decision. And now that I've been doing this for years now, I found that owning this decision, this conscious decision to change my behavior and to stop being right about my excuses, man, that was a hard pill to swallow at first. It was like, hang on, I am right about this. I am tired, or I don't have enough time, or I haven't got enough funds. Well, when I started to stop being right about my excuses and instead ask myself, well, how can I how can I make more money in my business? How can I find more time in my day? How can I make sure I'm not tired? And how can I reach more people? How can I make more sales? And that was another big turning point, to start asking yourself, can I, instead of why I can't. So the why I can't, that stems back into the excuses, right? The how I can gets your creative juices flowing. And of course, it's our creative juices as entrepreneurs, as business owners, that's going to help us in our business. So I tune up the volume on my creative juices, and I started asking myself, well, how can I bring in more clients today? How can I make more money in my business? So when I identified those things about how I actually could, I could create a package, and I could phone a number of people and invite them to have a complimentary session with me, which is something that I do, and it's an incredible way to get really deep and find out what's stopping you in your money mastery, right? And so that was a model I thought, right, well, I can speak on someone else's stage. How do I do that? Okay, so what I do is I approach someone I know that speaks a lot, and I ask them, what can I do to help you, and how can I be of service to you? So it's the how can I question I just keep asking myself time and time again. How can I reach more people? Oh, I could start creating a newsletter. How could I make myself more visible? Oh, I could start making videos. How can I reach a wider audience? Oh, I could get a bigger profile on Facebook. So you start thinking, in Facebook I could run a competition. So many juices start flowing, and you start getting quite excited then about your business. And the third piece that really changed into that next step in my business was when I increased my productivity. And that again comes back to the first one I was just telling you about too. Stop being right about able to be productive. Well, what's wonderful is now I teach people about how to be more productive in their business, and how to actually, be able to build your business from that place of fully showing up, right? And fully having that relationship with your money. And what was great about really harnessing the concept around productivity was that, once again, I asked myself the how question: how can I be more productive? And first and foremost, it was about writing my to-do list the night before. Why was this so crucial the night before? Because if I waited until the next morning, I found that I was becoming too distracted. And once again, I see this in my clients. If they don't take on the concept of planning your day the night before, right? So obviously, you've got of the next day. So before you go to bed tonight, those of you that are on the northern hemisphere, it's evening for you now, and you're about to end your day. Well, please end your day with your to-do list. And if you're all listening to this later, then find the time at the end of the day and actually sit down and write down your to-do list and work out that one thing that you're going to focus on, and put that at the top of your list. Make that your highest priority. And as Brian Tracy says, eat that frog, right? Do that thing first, because that's inevitably going to be the thing that's going to bring in the most cash flow in your business. It's going to be the one that's going to stop you avoiding money. It's going to be the one that's going to allow money to flow into your life more. So get productive. Do your to-do list the night before. Then the next day, the first thing that you do is you wake up and you review that list again, and then you get on with what you need to do. And within this productivity, I have a the juicy nugget is this. So often you get distracted in your day, And I know this because I work with you entrepreneurs, and I know what it takes to become more productive and make more money in your business. And it comes down to focus and discipline. So I encourage all of you to go out and buy yourself a very simple kitchen timer. And I'll tell you about why it needs to be a simple kitchen timer. If I instruct you to go away and set a timer and work on your business for an allocated amount of time, and you do this on your smartphone, well, guess what? Your phone will ring, or someone will text you, or a Skype message will pop up, or a Facebook post will catch your attention. That's not what we want, right? Come back to what I suggested, focus and discipline. So here we go. And what I love about these good old kitchen timers that you can get from kitchen stores or hardware stores is that you can actually hear it tick when you set it. So it's at the top of the hour, right? So turn it around. So let's say it's 9 o'clock, and you turn it all the way around to 45 minutes. So 45 minutes past the hour. And then what you do is that from the top of the hour, from 9 o'clock, say, until 9:45, all you do is that one thing. And that is it. So is it an article you have to write? Is it a proposal that you have to get across to a client? Are you creating a package? Are you rewriting some of the copy for your website? Whatever it is, do that one thing. Maybe if it's during business hours, it's actually allocating that time to follow up and phone clients and just to say, or look, I noticed that you were on our webinar, and we've provided some juicy material about how you can actually get more successful in your business and make more money. What was the feedback that you had about that, and what did you get out of it? Right? So I'm just giving you some suggestions about what you might do with your time. But the principle of this, of you focusing on the one thing, is that you will be amazed at how much you get done. And as a law of attraction practitioner, I really get that what you focus on expands, and what you give your energy to will magnify. So you give your energy to this one task, and you will feel amazing. Now, what happens at 45 minutes past the hour is your kitchen timer goes off. It rings at you. It's loud, and it's in your face, and it's right there. And then this is your gift. Your gift is that from 45 minutes past the hour up to the top of the hour again, that you can look at emails, return text messages, check your Facebook page, go outside and get a breath of fresh air, handle the washing if you work from home, go and have a chat in the staff room if you're in an office environment, and connect with your colleagues. But promise yourself this: when it gets to the top of the hour again, you go ahead and you do another ferocious focus, because that's what the name of this is, ferocious focus. And amazingly enough, you will be 10 times more productive, 20 times more productive, 100 times more productive if you would just do this one thing. And what I love about this one thing, Sohail, and to all of you listeners out there, is that it shifts the way you feel about your business. And when you feel better about your business, then you show up that you know how to make money, that you think that it starts you thinking differently about money and bringing money into your business, and you start doing and being more productive. And this makes a difference as to whether you're going to live a life of prosperity or one of continual money challenges. But what's great is that no matter what your situation, no matter whether you're financially prosperous right now or whether you're financially struggling, is that you adapt those things that I've just taught you now, and you'll watch your money challenges start to disappear because you've got more confidence in yourself, you're feeling better about yourself, and you're really identifying what you're focusing on, that one thing you're focusing on, and you're getting on with it. You're making that decision. You stop being right about your old excuses, and you're creating this beautiful new habit. And what's so cool is this great new habit that you're bringing because you're bringing in a new habit. So it's magic, Sohail. It really works. And so, yeah, it's one of those ones, totally get out there and
So
embrace it,
Catherine,
everybody, because it's
so Catherine, this is where I really need help. So do you want to just take us through that again with the timer? So just take us through step by step exactly
Yes.
how you did that again.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, so number one is go and buy your kitchen timer. Number two is make the decision that you're going to set aside this time for what your ferocious focus. You set the timer for 45 minutes. So literally you turn the timer around 45 minutes, a manual activity, and while your timer is ticking loudly at you, you focus on your highest need activity. You focus on the thing that's going to bring you money in that day. That needs to be your highest flow. Focus on that one thing that's going to be bringing in and generating money, and do that solidly for 45 minutes with absolutely no other distractions at all. If you need to put a sign on your office door, if you need to talk to your family and say, I'm out of bounds for the next 45 minutes, whatever it is you need to do, turn off your phone, and that's imperative. Get rid of your smartphone, put it out of the way, and just focus on that one thing for 45 minutes. And then from the 45-minute mark to the top of the hour, that's when you get to do what you need to do. Because as entrepreneurs, as business owners, it's okay to build in some downtime for yourself, and that's the downtime. Note that the downtime is not an hour or 2 hours while you go off on a tangent and get distracted and bury your head in the sand about what really needs doing. No, and tick at you for 45 minutes while you focus on the one thing. When the buzzer goes off, go and make yourself a cup of tea, whatever you need to do. And then if you've got allocated time in your calendar, do it again. And if you could do at least 2 ferocious focuses a day, only 2, you would be amazed. You would be astounded. You would be blown away by what you can attract, what you can manifest, what you can create in your business, because you feel so much better, so much more efficient, so much more confident.
Now that's really cool, because I have something called MMAs, which are my money-making
Oh, yes?
activity. Yeah, which is my money-making activities, and I tend to do at least 2 of those. People are actually saying that they love the ferocious focus, ferocious
Yes.
focus strategy, which is cool.
Yes,
That's really
it's a
cool.
goodie, isn't it?
But with me, it's like MMAs, money-making activities. So I do at least 1 or 2 MMAs every day. Something that I'm doing, like, going onto Facebook, LinkedIn, or whatever. Even when I'm on social media, I'm actually doing something that is making me money. So it's a money-making activity. So every day I have an MMA, 1 or 2 MMAs that I do, which is very similar to which I like your principle. If I apply that, then that should be gangbusters for me, basically. So no, thank you for that. And
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
I want to ask you next was, what is your big vision, right, for the future?
I love it. I love it. Oh, we've all got to have a big vision, and I think that for me, my big vision really starts with making sure that as business owners and as entrepreneurs out there, that everyone really identifies into their why, and why are you in business? What are you here for? What's the difference that you want to make out there in the big wide world? My big vision for the future is to impact more people, is to help people overcome their fear and their doubt, and to really and that's my big vision, because I see it time and time again where people are falling over themselves. They're not making the success that they want. It's interesting. Part of this vision I have is to take people's idea around what it takes to be someone who's interested in the secret, someone who's interested in law of attraction, someone who's interested in the spiritual side of business, and to actually help them to realize that you can't just watch The Secret, and you can't just wait for the law of attraction or the universe to make you rich. And you've got to realize that there are fundamentals that you have to do. You see, there's a big difference, Sohail, between being spiritual and being financially prosperous. And so part of my big vision is to help these people understand that, you know what, you can be spiritual, you can be universally minded, make great money. And my big vision is to help people bridge the gap from one to the other. And you know, these people are very passionate about what they do, and often what happens, the mistake is that they think the money's just going to come. You know, that they think that just by setting good intentions that that's going to boost their income. And they just say, oh, you know, oh, the universe will provide, or, you know, look, I just believe so much that everything's going to work out just fine, and you know, I'm working on my energy, and I'm doing my meditations, and I'm clearing my chakras, and that is all excellent stuff, right? Don't get me wrong, I love that. I do all that stuff myself. But people who are out there who are tuning into this call, you can be spiritual and you can be financially prosperous and make great money doing what you love, but you've got to take action. You've got to be your precious person.
And you know what? I'm so with you on that, because I see so many people.
Okay, isn't it?
I see so many people who tune into the spirituality side, and that's fine. You know, that is great, and I'm a spiritual person myself. But without action, it's not gonna it's not gonna happen. If you don't take action, then it's not gonna happen. As simple as that. So action is the mover, really. Action is the thing that determines the actual result, really, when you think about it. So that's really, really interesting.
Yeah, good. Yeah, no, like I'm such a great believer that that this is a fundamental missing part, and you know, you can't just go and sit on a mountaintop and you know, pray or set intentions or meditate. And I say you can't just do that. Do that as well if that serves you. However, you've got to have a strategic plan in your business. You've got to actually set aside time in your business to work on your marketing, to actually have a structure and a system to your business, and part have their focus. They do know where they're going. They do have their 30-day goals, their 90-day goals. They are spending time actually planning in their business. And showing them actually how to attract business to them in a way that does serve their spiritual side, their heart-centered side, but that they're not being ignorant and burying their head in the sand.
Yeah,
that's part of my big vision.
And this is why it's important. I always say to have a coach or a mentor that can help you with that, because we can't do everything ourselves, and you need someone to give you not only the kick up the backside, basically, but also the direction that you need to be able to do it. And if you follow someone who's already had success, it's just it's just so quick and easy. And in effect, that's what you're paying for. You know, when people say, oh, you know, you pay for a coach or a mentor, you're paying for that success, that speed. You're paying, you're paying for something that would have taken you such a long time, whereas you would have lost so much money trying to figure it out yourself. And for me, it's very important. I mean, we both share a lot of friends in our network. For example, JT Fox. I mean, we both know JT Fox very well, and you know, I've known him for many years. I've known him for many years, and I've seen him excel and come up so quick because of having good mentors and coaches. And he's always progressive. He's always progressive. He had a 7-figure mentor. Then he had an 8-figure mentor. Now he has a 9-figure mentor, and it's very important. Depending on where you want to take yourself, make sure that you align yourself with the right person. So it's very interesting. So Catherine, tell me.
Absolutely.
So tell me, what is the one thing that you've done in your life that you are most proud of?
Oh, the one thing I've done in my life that I'm most proud of, I mean, obviously aside from my beautiful family, that's my big purpose behind why I am actually in business, because I just as my driving force, my burning desire to show up fully and to be a great role model for them. However, I think that if I was really open and honest with you about the thing that I've done in my life that I'm the most proud of, is to really embrace this particular principle or mantra, if you like. And it's this, and this has been a guiding force in my business. So if you haven't been writing down what I'm saying, you might want to write this one down because this is a real nugget. And it's this. I ask myself the question when things are chaotic around me, or I'm up against challenges, whether it's money challenges or client challenges or team challenges or business challenges anyway. I ask myself this question: what if everything I'm experiencing right now is perfect? What if everything I'm experiencing right now, ask myself, well, why would I be so, what's there to be proud of about that? Well, what makes me proud about that is that it completely changes the way I show up. It stops the constriction and the restriction within me, and it allows me to feel a deeper sense of peace and ease. And then what I do when I ask myself that question, what if everything I'm experiencing right now is perfect and right? Then I ask myself, so what is it here to teach me? Right? So if I have a client miss a payment, and what if that was perfect right now? Isn't that interesting? I'll sit with the question. Okay, so how could that be right? How could that be perfect? Well, it's perfect because it's teaching me something. What's it teaching me? Right, what it's teaching me is that I need to have a better system for following up the payment. What if everything was right now and I haven't got enough money to pay the rent? What if that's perfect as well? What would be perfect about that? What would be perfect was like an identity. The lesson is I need to do a fresh focus. I need to get focused again. So I'm really proud of myself that I tune into myself on a daily basis and I ask myself that question. What if everything I'm experiencing right now is perfect? And then I get on with answering the question, well, what's the lesson behind it? What am I here to learn? Rather than blaming anybody else, I take pride in the fact that I take complete responsibility for what's going on in my business and in my life. And that's how I help money show up even more fully, which is awesome, Sohail. Are you still there?
Yes, I am. I was just
Oh, okay.
listening.
Oh, okay.
I was just listening to what you
Oh,
said
good.
because you shared some amazing things on this webinar, which have been fascinating. I've been actually making notes, picked up some really good nuggets, and I've had some really good messages coming in. And what I want to say to everyone right now on the webinar is, if you have any questions for Catherine, could you please put them in the chat box? If you'd like me to ask Catherine any questions about what we've discussed today, put them in the chat box if you have any questions for us. And what I want to say, Catherine, we're coming up to the end of the hour. I just want to say a real big thank you. I know we've had a big issue with the time difference as well, because I know there's a massive time difference. It's really strange because I operate throughout, we've been operating now throughout 3 different time zones: UK, US, and New Zealand, and it's been getting everyone together and coordination has been tough, but we finally got there, which is great. Now, I believe, Catherine, that you are you have a gift for all our listeners on this webinar, and I'll just let you talk more about what it is that you'd like to offer everyone, and I'll put it up on the screen there so you can talk about it.
Oh, fantastic. That's wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I just want to ask your listeners a question. To truly, to make a shift, to push through, to actually do what needs to be done to make more money in your business and to have that money mastery, and to learn what needs to be learned and to grow where you're meant to grow. And maybe what you're doing is that you're tired of that loop that's in your mind that starts out, well, I believe in the law of attraction, or I believe in the universe, or I believe in the secret, but it ends with, well, but where are my results? Where are my money results? Why isn't money showing up for me? That can be really, really exhausting. And so the gift that I've got for you is I want to help you to create quantum leaps in your money mastery. And the way I'm going to do that is I want to talk to you I want to give you the opportunity to talk to me. And what I'm offering is a one-on-one conversation because I don't want to leave you without support at this most important topic of all. So I'm going to encourage you and invite you to have a strategy session with me, and so the gift is that I'm offering everyone a 30-minute strategy session with me, completely free of charge, completely complimentary, because it is my gift to you. I'm here to be of service. I love helping people to get out of their money. I call it and taking people from their money shit, if it's right to say that, Sohail, on this line. To
Fine, yeah, it's
so
watershed
money
evening,
shit.
so it's fine.
Yes, yeah. If you're ready to get rid of your money shit and have a money shift, then come and join me for a strategy session. And for those that are listening to this on audio, the link for you to go to is bit.ly/Catherine strategy session. And Catherine, of course, is CATHERINE. I'll say that one more time. It's bit.ly/Catherine strategy session. And before it, and have I got that right, Sohail? Is that the right link that we're at?
Yeah, you're right. It's http / bit.ly/Catherine CATHERINE strategy session. Now I put the link in the chat box for everyone to look at. If you're most people will watch this webinar as a replay, so they will see the video. And the link is right now on the screen. So guys, here's the thing, right? And this is what you got to bear in mind. People like myself and Catherine, we charge a lot of money for consulting. Okay, and you've seen our programs. My program is 15K, 25K. You know, I charge $30,000 for 1 day's consulting, right? And to get a free strategy session with me for 30 minutes, for free is absolutely phenomenal. I normally don't put them out there, but when I do, and if I do, like Catherine has done, I would jump straight on it. So it's just an opportunity for you to actually talk to her, you know, pick her brains as well and see where she can help you. No obligation for anything. You know, you're not going to be a charge for the strategy session, or you're not going to be, you're not going to be pressured into anything. Just have a conversation, see where you are, and see how she can help you.
Brilliant. Yep. Spot on. Let's get you changing everything about the way that you relate to money and the way money shows up for you in your business. I'm here to help.
Catherine, again, thank you very much for your time. I know the you know, the time difference and where you are right now in New Zealand, but first of all, thank you very much for coming on to this webinar. It's been great. You know, it's been fantastic, and it's been, like I said, it's something for us to have fun with. And hopefully, those of you guys on the webinar right now, definitely hit that link, sign up for your free strategy session, talk to Catherine. You know, have a conversation with her, see where she can help you. And those of you guys watching the recording of this, you know, do the same. Go to that link right now, and you know, just get your free strategy session. And thank you guys for your comments about the webinar. It's been an amazing webinar, and it's been fantastic. And Catherine, thank you very much once again. And
Awesome.
I'll be speaking to you very soon.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Lovely. Thanks, Sohail. It's been a pleasure. Let's get people changing their attitude to money and making it, eh?